Now let's get some rapid-fire response from our panel on these stories. Former House Majority Leader Dick Armey and other conservatives are urging Indiana Congressman Mike Pence to fill the void in 2012 in that presidential field. Even the super righties see they have a weak crowd of 2012 wannabes. Rudy Giuliani and Sarah Palin may be the deciding factor in his decision to run for president in 2012, and members of the Congress are calling for Rush Limbaugh to apologize for his racist impression of the Chinese president. Chinese-American Congressman David Wu called it a fundamental lack of character. With us tonight, nationally syndicated radio talk show host Stephanie Miller and Amy Holmes. Great to have both of you with us tonight. Let's do the Rush Limbaugh thing. Here he is on the radio mocking the Chinese president.
Hu Jintao was just going ching chang ching chang chong chang 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 ching chong ching ba 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 chong chong ching 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 ching.
We get the idea here. All right, what do you make of this, Amy Holmes?
Not much. I don't see the point of it. It seems pretty juvenile to me. I don't like, mocking people, using this, ethnic stereotyping or ethnic slurs. A billion people speak Chinese, and China we owe a lot to China. They're holding a lot of our debt.
Should he apologize?
Should he apologize? Rush Limbaugh is never going to apologize for stuff like that. That is part and parcel of what you get with the Rush Limbaugh show. It's an element of that show that I don't care for.
Stephanie?
Well, at least somebody on the right has finally found something they can't defend that Rush Limbaugh did. It had the added benefit of not just being horribly offensive, but also incredibly unfunny, Ed.
Well, what begun as an ugly display, this is a Congressman Wu, who wants an apology. What began as an ugly display quickly becomes as striking for its pathetic childishness. Mr. Limbaugh proves once again his disinterested in civil and thoughtful discourse, and in doing so, he ridicules one of the world's oldest languages, insults the Chinese American and Asian American communities, and disrespects 1.3 billion people in China. Now, this is exactly what Reverend Sharpton's been talking about. Amy, is this just fair game, or is this hate speech? Where do you draw the line?
Well, I don't think it's hate speech. I think, as Stephanie said, it's just not funny. But, Rush Limbaugh is not going to apologize for his shtick any more than Howard Stern is going to apologize for his. So I think he's an entertainer. He certainly entertains his audience. A lot of people tune in for it. This whole side of it, the ethnic slurring, the ethnic stereotyping, as I said, to me is pretty tasteless.
Stephanie, we've got Rudy Giuliani saying that if Sarah's out, he's probably going to be in. He says the more Republicans in which I can show a contrast, probably the better chance that I have. My one chance, if I had a chance, is that I'm considered a moderate. Is Rudy Giuliani to be taken serious? What do you think?
Well, his run last time was pretty disastrous, Ed, but I love that they keep talking about the void in the Republican, group for president in 2012. And by void, that's code word for Sarah Palin. It's code word for anybody but Sarah Palin. And I guess now Michelle Bachmann. For those of you that like your candidates, really kind of shallow and mean, but also incredibly crazy.
What do you think, Amy?
Well, obviously I don't agree with those characterizations, but Sarah Palin, she's not even the front runner among Republican voters when they're asked who they'd like to see be the 2012 nominee. But I agree, Rudy Giuliani wanted to throw his hat in the ring. He'll have to throw a lot more in, given his performance, his spectacularly bad campaign performance in 2008. This is someone who had a 20-point lead that he was able to fritter away and not win a single primary state. I love the mayor. I'm a huge fan of Mayor Rudy Giuliani's. I had hoped that he would get the Republican nomination, but if he really wants to do this in 2012, he's going to have a lot more discipline and a lot more strategy.
And what about Mike Pence, Amy? Does he have a shot? I mean, the hard right is really pushing him to run now.
Sure, it's going to be a wide open field. I mean, that's what presidential elections are for. It's about having options, about having choices. But I think what's interesting there is that Mike Pence could be running against Mitch Daniels from his own state, the governor of Indiana. So that makes a lot of this very interesting for political watchers.
Stephanie, when does the mudslinging start on the right amongst all these candidates?
Not soon enough for me. You know, I did a panel on the fairness doctrine with Mike Pence, Ed, and you'll be surprised to know he thinks radio is just fair enough right now that Rush Limbaugh is on several hundred more stations than you and I are, because he has that really good writing for those Chinese bits that we
What
don't
he
have.
has is
on
a lot
our
of
shows.
listeners. What he has is a lot of fans.
Well, when you're on that many stations, you can't miss. Stephanie Miller, Amy Holmes, great to have you with us tonight. Thanks so much.